Welcome everyone. Welcome back to the horrors of XBLIG. It's been a little while since we've last looked into the depths of Xbox Live indie games to find only the most terrifying of interactive experiences. But it's time to return, and what better way to return than with another masterstroke from the Prince of Terror himself, Claudio Battiato. You might remember Claudio Battiato's previous work that we looked at, Bloody Death. It was a full-motion video horror game featuring quality acting and choices, branching paths that you could take, copied by modern horror games like Until Dawn. Claudio Battiato paved the way. I defy you to name a better horror game than Bloody Death, a better full-motion video horror game than Bloody Death, a better full-motion video horror game on the Xbox Live indie game service. You cannot, until possibly today, because it's time to enter Hell's House. And I have not selected a storage device in Hell's House. You cannot save. Why would you think that you could save your game in Hell's House? Of course, you can't save in Hell, even though you may have a hard drive in your Xbox 360. It matters not within the walls of Hell's House. Now, as we get started with the game, you'll catch on quick how we play. However, like another horror game that we're familiar with, the way this game works is if you play it well, you won't actually see the traps you could fall into, so I'll have to cut away every so often to show the consequences of failure. Now, let's get started. And I advise, if you are squeamish, if you cannot stomach horror movies or horror games, well, I'm sorry to say, this is both. So you might want to turn away. You can keep listening, but turn away from the screen as we enter Hell's House, which will begin now. It suggests you to play to the normal or easy difficulty to enjoy the video. The reason is because if you play it on hard or hellish, well, the action would come so fast and furious you might not even be able to watch the beautifully shot full-motion video. We'll play it on easy, just so we can bask in the tension that this game builds up. And what would a horror game be without a deep backstory? A girl was given an old house as an inheritance, but people said the house was haunted. The girl was careless of the rumors. She was going to spend a night inside and was never seen again. What happened to her? Well, we're gonna find out. As the careless girl enters the house, it doesn't look so bad. It's just an old house. Right? Little did you expect button prompts to slowly scroll onto the screen. We have to hit each of those button prompts as they hit the center of that circle. If we miss 3, well, it'd be game over. Fortunately, the plumbing works in Hell's house. What a shame it would be if the tap didn't work. It seems that the electricity in Hell's house might not be working, though. It's very dark. Fortunately, it was all just a dream. None of that happened. Well, how could it? Such impossible things don't happen in this world, except maybe in Hell's house. And don't ask me how she died in the previous traps if it was all a dream. I have no answers. Only Claudio Battiato has the answers you crave. Claudio Battiato, truly a master of building tension. It starts as a knot right in your chest and builds with every skull that moves onto the screen. You crave sweet release from the... Oh, I messed up. See, I got a little bloody in the photo in the lower left. That's my health meter. If that happens 3 times, like I said, it's all over. And she really shouldn't read in the dark like that. She's going to strain her eyes. But maybe that's all part of the plot of Hell's house. No, she decided it was a bad idea. And you can see how tired she is. You can tell from the body language, the masterful direction of Claudio Battiato, guiding this actress to let us know how she feels without any words. Oh, but just when you thought it might be safe. The brilliance of Battiato's direction. How he weaves the interactivity of the game into the building tension. You know, there might be something behind that curtain. There might be a jump scare. But if there is a jump scare, it's all our own fault. We brought it on ourselves because we were not good enough at pushing buttons. It would be all our fault. Whereas other horror productions may throw jump scares in your face and you think, well, that's just cheap. That's a cheap way of trying to get me to jump in fright and to yell and scream. That takes no skill, no artistry. But in Hell's House, we know that it's up to us to prevent the jump scares, and if we're not good enough, if we're not fast enough on the buttons, it will happen. And that makes our palms sweat and makes it hard to hold the controller in our hands. Claudio Battiato knows this. They don't call him the Prince of Terror for nothing. Honestly, I'm not sure who calls Claudio Battiato the Prince of Terror. Himself, I suppose. But then, when you're the Prince of Terror, does anyone else's opinion really matter? The mood, the thick tension builds until you can hardly breathe. But you must breathe, you must continue to push buttons. What must be going through her mind, you wonder? Claudio Battiato knows that you wonder that. You're trying to put yourself in her shoes. Wonder, why did she come to Hell's House? Why did she not consider the rumors? How terrified must she be walking through this poorly lit house? I mean, it's adequately lit here in the reading room. But then we hear what could be a squealing cat or maybe a baby. It's hard to say. It probably wants water, but we have no water to give. feel the fear of getting ready to go to bed when nothing strange in particular has happened tonight because you have pressed all of the buttons. Yes, you have. And look at her stretch and look at her yawn. We know how she's feeling right now. We know because of this masterful body acting. No words are needed. No words. We know exactly what it feels like to be tired and to need to go to bed. We know. But sometimes sleep just isn't in the cards. No, not tonight. Not in Hell's House. Not when the Prince of Terror, Claudio Battiato, is calling the shots. You're in his world now, and in his world there is no sleep. Only buttons to press. Only buttons. She wonders, will she ever get to sleep? Can she ever rest from pushing buttons? I mean, I don't know what the metaphor is of me pushing the buttons and her not dying. I assume there is some sort of direct connection. There must be mental buttons that she is pressing. Mental buttons to keep away the demons that come for her even now. Don't look away. Don't look away. The moment is upon us. They're here. The fog machine is on. We are at the critical moment. The buttons, they come without remorse. And so it turned out to be yet another dream. Or was it? How much of the experience was real? How much was imagined? And how much took place on some sort of spiritual plane beyond our perception? Only Claudio Battiato knows. For now, perhaps we can rest easy, knowing that we pushed all of the buttons, except a couple that I missed here and there, but it wasn't enough to get a game over. We've survived the night. The morning sun washes over us, washes away the demonic aura that we've been feeling as we spent the night in Hell's House. And now that we've survived the night, I guess there's only one thing left to do. So yeah, that's how Hell's House ends. Our main character just kind of walks out the front door, and that's it. The masterful performance by Francesco Mamo. There's a second person, I guess probably the hooded figure that we've seen a couple times, because can't really think of any other character that we've seen in this. I guess that we changed fate. We changed the past because the story said that the girl was never seen again, and clearly she just walked out the front door at the end. So it looks like that we have the power to change the past after all. And thank you, Maria, Teresa, Guya, I guess, and Marco for their support. I don't know when this game came out, if it was before or after Bloody Death. I might assume before because Bloody Death was far more complex and had branching paths and all that. But regardless of the technology level, regardless of the ambition of the game, I don't think any of us will ever forget Hell's House. Now, Hell's House has taken up residence in our brains, in like a part, like in the back right of the brain. You can sort of feel like a pressing, little pressure. That's Hell's House. It's now there. It's now in your brain. You will not be able to forget it. Ever. But it seems that we missed one thing. I didn't show what happens if you fail that final QTE, did I? Let's have a look. Yeah, I like that ending more. Let's just pretend that's the canon ending. She opened the front door, and it led out into space. The end.